In this video, I will explain the first three blocks of the progressive cuts assignment. I have already opened a standard IPT from the English template. I am now getting a 2D sketch and placing it on the front view plane. I would recommend moving the sketch down, placing the origin near the XY axis indicator. Get a rectangle tool and starting on the origin, notice I have a green dot, that means I'm exactly on the origin. Click and release, draw a rectangle, push escape to get out of the rectangle tool. Get the dimension tool and dimension the width of this rectangle to be 4 inches and the height of the rectangle to be 2 inches. Push escape to get out of the dimension tool and click on the front of the view cube, and that zooms your sketch back to where you can see all of it. From here I'm going to finish the sketch and click on the home button, and then I'm going to extrude the profile 2 inches, which is the depth of the block. So essentially here is block number 1. At this point we really should save, do inventor and then save as, and navigate to your IED folder and your Unit 2 folder and give the file an appropriate file name. In this case I'm going to call it block 3. Right now we're at block 1, but we will finish this and get up to block 3. So I'm going to call it block 3 for now. I'm now going to get another 2D sketch. I click on the tool, I click on the front of the block, and what I want to do now is get a rectangle tool and start in the upper right corner, get the green dot, click and release, and I'm drawing a rectangle something like that, and I'm going to dimension 2 edges of the rectangle. This part should be 1 inch, the height, and then the width should be 3 inches, like this. Push escape to get out of the dimension tool, finish the sketch, and now I'm going to extrude, but instead of adding I'm going to cut, and the depth of my cut is going to be 2 inches, so it cuts all the way through, and I select OK. This is really the finished part of block 2. I'm going to click and just simply save, and now I want to get my third sketch and to click on the top of this lower part of the block, and now I want to draw a rectangle using the line tool. I want to start approximately here, touching the right edge, at least the right edge of this view. Click and release, draw over, just estimate the position. Want to be tangent to the lower edge of the top view. Click and then come back, get my green dot that tells me I am exactly on that end point of that line that I just drew, and I'm going to draw another line across the bottom to the corner, seeing my green dot. Click, come back, get my green dot, click, and draw a line back to where I started. Again, notice I have the green dot telling me I am exactly on top of the line that I first started. And I click and then push escape to get out. The next part here is to dimension the end points of this angled line. So I get my dimension tool and I get the dot that's on the end of the line. I click and release, and then I click on that edge there, and this dimension should be 0.5, half an inch. And I will do the same thing at this end of the line, except I'm going to go to the far left edge, and this should be 2 inches, like so. I'm going to push escape, finish my sketch, extrude. I want to cut, and I want to cut the triangle out, and so I select the triangle profile and click OK. Notice I selected cut, and 2 inches was already in there. I only need 1 inch, but 2 is fine. And then I simply select OK. And this is the end of block 3. Here I've started a pile title block, an IDW, with my name and the drawing name. I now want to bring in my base view of block 3, and this is a decent size, but I know it's going to be a little bit too big, so I'm going to scale it down just a little bit. I'm going to click inside the window here and type 3/4 scale, and then I'm going to move the window out of the way and position my front view, click and release, drag my mouse up for my top view, click and release, drag my mouse over for the right side view, click and release, drag my mouse up for the ISO, click and release, and then right click and select create. And there are my 4 views, 3 standard views and my isometric. Please remember your isometric must be shaded. So I double click on the view, the ISO view, and then bring the window in and click on the shaded tool and OK, and there is my shaded isometric. I now want to put in 3 dimensions: width, height, and depth. I click on the annotate tab and then dimension, and I want to put my width dimension on my front view like so. Uncheck this box, and there is my width dimension. Now my height, there's the top, there's the bottom of this front view, and click there, and then the depth, click on that line. And again, notice how the dimensions, if you're careful, will click into certain positions and line up just right. So there's my standard views with 3 dimensions. And the last item I want is to type in a text box with my scale 3/4 and click OK. Push escape to get out. You may want to just zoom in a little bit and line that up just a little bit better, and zoom out, and there is my finished title block of progressive cuts. I had previously saved this file when I started it, so now I just want to click the save button, and I am reviewing and ready to print.